Hey y'all, so I'm just sitting here editing. And before this episode starts, yes, Laurel is a certified wealth advisor, but I have to say that the opinions voiced in this recording are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. Prior to investing in a 529 plan, investors should consider whether the investors or designated beneficiary's home state offers any state tax or other state benefits such as financial aid, scholarship funds, and protection from creditors that are only available for investments in such states' qualified tuition program. Withdrawals used for qualified expenses are federally tax-free. Tax treatment at the state level may vary. Please consult with your tax advisor before investing. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show.
We are back with another episode of Mothering Holistically, a podcast amplifying everyday moms' voices, creating a space to share stories, practical tips, and inspiration. I'm your host, Kaylee Berlinee, a mama finding balance in motherhood because balance is key when mothering holistically. So no matter where you are connecting with us from, please subscribe or follow and give us feedback as we continue to make this podcast motivational and helpful for you all. So today we are chatting with Laurel Fewer, a wealth advisor, wellness advocate, and Montana native who blends financial education with personal empowerment. She specializes in helping women and families plan with purpose and calm, not panic. Through her online content and local leadership, Laurel encourages others to embrace intentional living, mindful money habits, and seasonal reflection. So please give a very warm welcome to Laurel. So hello. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege to be here.
Oh, yes. I know. I was really excited. I think that this is so beneficial for moms, women, because the financial talk and all the things that you see on social media with like girl math and things like that. I think it's really awesome to be getting this advice and understanding and education from another woman. A lot of women, I feel like, tune out when men, it's like the same blah, blah, blah jargon.
Yes,
but I really appreciate that you as a woman are coming and bringing this information for us. So I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Yes, no, thank you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Laurel. How did you get into this space?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my dad actually had a grassroots operation. He is an independent wealth advisor. So that means he went off on his own. He started his own business and he cold called and went on every door knocking opportunity for 2,000 households and started from the ground up. And I have been starting from the paper shredder. So since I was younger, and then I got my undergrad and I went to Montana State University. And then I got my master's in Boise, Idaho at Boise State. And then I decided to work for Hewlett Packard for a few years. And I saw the corporate world, and as amazing of a company that it was, I didn't want to get too wrapped up into it. And I found my love for financial planning. My dad does more of the stock picking side, and I do a lot more of the financial planning side of it. So that's kind of where I've been since, I think it's been 6 or 7 years now. So yeah.
How is that working with Dad?
It's good. We actually get along very well. We're very similar in nature. So some days, we have such different opinions, but at the end of the day, it's such a privilege working with my mom is the operations guru, and then my dad is the main wealth advisor. So it's such a blessing to be able to be home and be working with both of my parents. So I love it.
Wow. So it's a full family operation, not just your dad, but your mom as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's
and we all get along.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Such a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Working with family, and it's nice. You seem excited about it. And I'm sure that they're really happy as your parents that they're able to work alongside you. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
can you share the story behind your transition from, the corporate life to the family run business? Like, how did you transition out of HP?
Yeah, I kind of just found myself, doing more of the financial planning holistically. I love doing cash flow analysis is kind of where I got myself into. And I was doing a lot of corporate jobs on the side, and I took my trip to Europe, and it was what I called my quarter life crisis. And I was like, I do not find fulfillment in that job. It is a great job. It's a great opportunity, great company, but I just didn't find the joy in what I was wanting to do, in
Okay.
what my sole purpose in life was, in helping people. And I felt taking this step and trying what could go wrong? And it's been the
Uh-huh.
job that I absolutely love doing. I love helping single moms figure it out, how, their husbands were the sole breadwinners and their husbands pass
Uh-huh.
away, and they're just kind of in this what do I do situation. So I love being their advocate and kind of guiding them along that path.
I love that. And I know I love that you're also living this like you definitely don't want to regret anything. It's really nice that you tried it out and saw that you would be fulfilled in other areas. And so it's
Mhm.
nice that, like I said, you don't have to go back and feel regret. You tried it, it wasn't for you, and you could at least know that moving
Yep.
forward. So that's really cool. So how has being a woman in finance shaped your approach to supporting other women?
It was very difficult in my undergrad. It was very male based, and
Mm.
I liked the school, but I think it really shut me down as being the sole woman. Everyone was great in my class, but it was just the dynamic of it. So I became very quiet. But once I went to Boise State and I got my MBA,
Uh-huh.
it helped me find my voice. And by finding my voice and kind of synergizing that with finding my niche in helping women in the community that I'm in, I think it really just amplified my larger voice that I did truly have. So,
What do you feel the difference was from the different colleges? Do you feel like you just became more confident? Was there more women?
I think so. Yeah. And I think it was, you come from a small town high school where you get A's across the board, and then you get put into your place. And it was just like, we were graded on the curve where maybe the average score on exams was 60%. And I just, in that mindset, I was not used to that. And it was just very, very disheartening at times. And so I think it really,
Mm.
really knocked me down. And then comparative to going into a whole different, more of a business administrative role in school. So really different.
Hmm. I see. I see how that could be jarring, and
Yeah.
at least you were able to find your footing.
Right. Yeah. Right. I know. Yeah.
So what are some of the most common financial mindsets you see women carrying into the new year? Like this is going to be coming out in January. So how do
Mhm.
you start the new year, and what advice do you feel that they would need?
Yeah, no, I like starting with a clear mindset and a clear path. What I typically see is all the cash flow planning tips of starting off the new year. We're most likely starting off January, getting into debt after buying all these toys for our kids. And so you're just trying to get back on track. You're trying to eat healthy again. And it's health and wellness in the end of it, and just kind to transition into the detox phase of everything in life, of
Mm.
getting that budget started, knocking it down, and just kind of taking a step back and aligning all of your goals together. And it's, you can always, I don't know, I am a realist. So I'll go head over first and just kind of knock them all out, make as many goals as you need to. They don't have to be
Mhm.
as realistic as you want. Just, whatever you can catch for a goal, go ahead and catch it. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So you're basically saying, pace yourself to what you feel you can do, but don't
Yeah.
feel limited to time. Is that kind of what?
Yeah, exactly. And it could be in any aspect. It could be, trying to catch an additional Pilates class for the week, or it could
Hmm.
be, even getting um, one more rep in, even just going to the gym. It could be that,
Yeah.
something so simple, but it makes a difference along the way.
So I definitely want to make this a little bit more personal because I know that
Yeah.
you are having another child. So what about the pregnant mom? And you are living this right now. So how are you going into the new year with expecting a baby and those type of things?
Yes, for everyone that knows me, my first child going into it, I was planning, I got married 3 months postpartum, and I definitely do not
Okay.
recommend that.
Wow.
I used that time, that vacation time, as my time to plan my wedding, and I had no idea what I was getting into. My mom was just like, okay, okay. And so, so now it's more of a realistic view. And, this pregnancy has gone so well, and it's been just an awesome adventure. And
Uh-huh.
this one, I'm going into it open, but I am one that says if you speak it out loud, it happens. So I
Mm.
know that I'm going to have February starting off with a healthy baby, and it's gonna, she's gonna sleep through the night. She's gonna eat as much as she can during the day. So I might be very naive in that, but I really think it'll truly happen. So I don't know. We'll see.
Believe is the first step.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I got married 4 months pregnant because I didn't want to,
Yeah.
deal with the baby. I mean, of course, with me having
Logically.
twins, I didn't want to have two at this,
Yeah.
dealing with planning and stuff like that. So I can only imagine 3 months and mom is like,
I know.
okay.
Yeah. It
Do you
was,
feel it?
yeah.
Did it help, of course, that you were working with your family when they were able to support you and then
Oh my
understand that you
gosh.
needed that time?
Yes, absolutely. But it almost, it helped because I knew they were there understanding, and they gave me
Mm-hmm.
the space that I did need. But it was also hindering because it's like, I'm not just a 9 to 5 employee, see you
Mm-hmm.
later. I'm not talking to you in 12 months. I have a really emotional connection to the clients that I'm working with. So it was
Right.
really hard to kind of shut off too. So it was difficult. But this time I think my clients are very they respect my time, and they know that they can rely on either my dad or other counterparts in the office that can help us. So I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah. How are you going about setting those boundaries though? Because I know, like you said, when you're close, it's so easy
Yeah.
to blur the line. So how are you doing that?
Just setting your email, everybody who needs something right away, especially it's like right before tax season too. So
Right.
I'm already expecting that it's just going to be mayhem. So I
Mm-hmm.
think having my dad, and we just hired a year ago, we hired a new licensed admin and then another
Okay.
admin almost, 9 months ago. And they're just powerhouses. We are so fortunate to have them.
Oh,
They're
that's
just
good.
amazing. Yes. And so I actually feel relief off my shoulders that I can fully rely on them to do any pickup work that they need.
That's so good. I know finding good talent is
So
difficult.
hard. Yeah.
Do you just feel, like you said, just, lucky and blessed, or is it, do you have any tips for someone who is looking for good help? Do you have any tips on weeding out the fray?
Yeah. You know, I think we got so fortunate. The one thing we did find, especially in a financial advising, like finding an
Mm-hmm.
admin role of someone who just knocks all the tasks out of the park, is I would go to the local bank and find someone who is very task oriented. You could take a personality test. We took one before I even
Okay.
hired our admin, and she was so in sync with getting stuff done. And I was like, this is
Mm.
perfect. She really matched up to what we were needing, and she's just been
Mm-hmm.
thriving. She'll even tell me, like, your checklist isn't done for the day. I'm like, I know. And so she holds me accountable, which is really nice. So yeah.
That's good. That's so good, especially that she also feels comfortable with holding you accountable. So it definitely speaks to
Yes.
your character as well. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, this is my family's company. You don't tell me.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. I'm completely opposite. I'm like, tell me what to do.
I love that. Definitely humility goes
Yeah.
a long way.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you encourage your clients to reset without shame or overwhelm?
Um, it's a without shame or overwhelm. Um, there have been a couple of situations recently too. It's hard, especially with, high interest rates coming out. It's hard to even take a step back, and you're always going to have that shame. And at the end of the day, to me, it's kind of looking at it from a debt perspective of, let's just, don't put everything on your credit card. If you have that buy now, pay later option and you do have the cash available, go that route, because interest rates are like, I don't know, on average 30%, right, on credit cards. So we're all going to experience shame in some way, because we're all being affected by the high prices everywhere. So it's just little areas that we can just cut back on, and maybe not spending $6 on a coffee every day, maybe make the bulk investment to buy the espresso machine and, get your money back over time to break even. So it's just little things here and there. So
yeah, I totally get that. And I know, like you said, right now is just a really hard time, and people are feeling so overwhelmed with the idea of family planning, future planning, buying a home,
yes.
things like that. If someone feels just like they're drowning, but they do have those goals to buy a home one day, start their family, what advice do you give them to just start towards achieving that goal?
My large picture is take a look, put everything in the futuristic view. If this is what you want, you have to be able to have the mindset to go out and go get it. You have to have the willpower to be able to save. And even, I was just talking with a family last, 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about how we created this perfect plan, but the husband ended up getting air flighted out, and that was 20 grand, and ended up getting all these emergency bills. And it's just, your plan can go 180 so quickly. So it's just, even if you have the mindset, there's always something that could go wrong. But I think just starting that plan, and for those that want to get started now, I mean, the economy is not in our favor. I mean, we're starting to have 50-year mortgage loans that were just being proposed, 15-year car loans as well. And it's not in the consumer's best interest of saving and, getting that cash flow stacked up in the background. So I think you really have to we're in a different world that our parents were in, 50 years ago, and we just need to be more frugal.
Yeah. And how would you suggest doing that? I mean, of course, we talked about the coffee, but we're in this hustle culture, and we're trying to stay busy, make this money, but then it's like, buy your groceries, cook your food. How do you balance, how, like, as a financial advisor, I'm sure possibly someone is giving this pushback. Like, how do I find the time to do all this stuff to save this money? What do you say to those people?
I even experience it personally too, because it's like, you can sit here and preach and tell everybody what to do, but I'm still in the background trying to do it myself. And it's just such a hard, it's the time, it's finding, it's almost impossible, because it's like, you can download apps to maybe buy your groceries in advance and get the coupons and everything else. And especially as a mom, kind of time that you have buckets that you have to fill. And one of them, I feel, after getting into motherhood, is you always have to be prepared for anything. And it's, if you don't have groceries ready Sunday and then Monday comes, you're like, who's cooking dinner? Because it's not me. So you have to be on your A game. And by doing that, I've found, shopping through the online app to get those discounts, and just kind of being more prepared of going down the more automated tech route of helping you out in the long run, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I do the same thing with Sprouts. I love that I can just go shop online. First off, it's so easy to kind of pick what you want, and then look at how much you are spending, and then be like, okay, maybe I can adjust instead of getting to the front of the line and be like, maybe I don't want all this that I put in my cart.
Right.
And there's no extra
Yep.
charge for them to bring it out to your car. So I really like that. And then, like you said, you can coupon clip and things like that within the app. So that's been really cool. I do like that you mentioned that. And I love your honesty about like, I'm trying to figure it out too.
Yeah. Literally, it's such a hard game.
It's so hard to be on it all the time. And I feel like that is society more and more is trying to act like that's how we have to be. And we have to be these robots to be perfect, especially with the rising aid of technology and AI. And it's like, but I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. I'm a human being and I'm trying my best. So I love that you're honest about that. So I know that we're talking about it being the new year and setting our goals. So what role does reflection play in your own goal setting? Do you reflect on the past year and how you manage setting your new goals for the new year? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, I always look back at the previous year just to set a benchmark because there's so many different factors that come into play. And kind of like what we talked about, what's going on in the economy this year with the high interest rates that we're experiencing. We didn't get that 3 years ago. So it's still nice to look back and see, even though we're still experiencing it, based on what we saw last year, what can I do to almost better the situation? What can I do to change it to make my lifestyle a little bit more easier and stress-free on me? So I always like to take a look back in review in any situation.
Yeah, I like that. I've just been, with anything, especially when you feel like you're not being productive or you're not doing all the things that you think you should be doing or reaching the goals, it's so hard to manage something or feel accomplished if you don't track it. So I definitely wanted to hear your feedback behind that because I feel like tracking is just so crucial to not psyching yourself out and making yourself know that you are doing things, you are maintaining things. Life may not be perfect, but look at all these things that you've done. And then again, reflect on what goals can you set based on last year's accomplishments. So I really, or difficulties. So.
Yeah. And you can track it however works for you. They have like the Monarch Money app. They have everything under the sun. But I personally use an Excel spreadsheet and it's kind of scary. I do every monthly expense by month. And then I take a look back and see, for example, we just paid property taxes. And even though they say they went down, ours somehow went up. And so just kind of tracking that, or like even policies on vehicle insurance, maybe go out and take a look at what you were paying last year and go find quotes from other locations and find the lowest quote. And maybe there's something out there that was even lower than what you were paying last year. So there's so many different things you could be doing.
And how long does that typically take you to renegotiate? Do you feel like it is something that you should do annually? Because I know a lot of people do say, you can negotiate anything, and I've definitely started to put that into practice. So how long does that typically take you? Is this a week's time that you do this? Is this, just you hunker down and do it for one day? What does that look like?
Yeah, no, it's typically about a week, and it's just because there's so much going on that you have to get like all of your policy documents in place too. And I think my husband's the prime example of it because he does his own trucking business, and so the insurance on that is ungodly expensive. And so he just sits down and he locates what his best rate would be, and I look up to him for that because I'm like, it is so stressful. Like, is it really worth the extra money to take a week's worth of time to go out and find a lower quote if it's only going to be, $50 cheaper? But it is in the long run. And it's still an educational piece too. You learn so much along the way that I still think it's worth the grit and the effort, even though it's just so tedious and you have no idea what you're doing. You got to learn how to do it.
I love that you brought that up because it does kind of jog my memory when I took a school bus and turned it into a spa, and I was just being so quick at getting my insurance. And when of course, like I said, I was just trying to educate myself, become a better business person. And they were like, you can negotiate everything. And I finally took the time to look at my insurance policy, just get quotes from other places. And for me, it was hundreds of dollars that I was able to save annually by renegotiating, talking to other people, and not just going with the first quote that I got. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I took the time to do this because and especially like, I know you were saying possibly $50, but for me, it was hundreds of dollars. So it definitely did.
Yes.
My time was worth it in order to make that switch. So I definitely am with you on that same page. Like, take the time. If you're finding every year you do it, nothing is really changing, maybe do it every other year, but try at least.
Yes, absolutely. Especially on the business side too, because everything's so much more expensive. And if you can find those lower rates, absolutely, it makes a heck of a difference.
Wow. So you are in a family business with your parents, and then your husband owns his own trucking business. So what does the balance for that look like, especially being parents?
I kind of thought of this question because I felt like you were going to ask. And some days I feel like there is no balance. Some days, especially in the early stages of parenthood, it just feels like survival. And I think it's just a humbling act of God that he puts everybody through. It's just, you talk about life is so good. Like, you're at work for 3 months and then you say out loud, you're like, my kid hasn't had the flu in like 3 months. And then you're like, oh no. And then they get the flu and then you have to stay home sick. And it's impossible to work at home when they're sick. And it's, again, the preparedness of just being as prepared as you can as a parent, of making sure you have your groceries ready to go, your house is clean, which is impossible. Everything in between. It's just, you have to fill your buckets, and it's such a common conception, but you can't fill them all.
Ooh, life is a roller coaster. My goodness.
It is.
So do you have any like quick tips for like financial tips for families that they seem so small, but in like overall they are actually pretty big tips?
Yeah, no, I can share a couple from my husband's standpoint, as he went in as his own business owner in 2019. He did everything completely different. And I was like, why don't you get a credit card? And he's like, why would I get a credit card? And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so now he has a credit card and he puts all of his expenses on there, and we get every vacation paid for due to the points from that credit card. So even if we don't use the vacation, especially with like maternity leave coming up here soon, we're not going to be realistically looking at a vacation. So you could use those points and put them towards paying down some of those larger expenses. If you have credit card debt, put it towards that. Maybe it is for Christmas gifts, because at the end of the year, you're like, oh my gosh, I have nothing left in my budget. You could do something like that. Another thing is really just realistically putting all of your expenses, take your bank statements, take a look at them from the last 12 months and see what you're averaging in like fuel, groceries, even though everything's going up in price, but I feel like it's always going to be going up. We've never seen it really go down. So I think it's a good tip to just track everything, what you're spending on. And so you're mindful every month of kind of keep within that number, for the month going on to the next, and then just kind of trying to see how you align within your benchmarks of, am I saving enough money each month? What does my debt to assets look like? Should I do I have enough good debt versus bad debt? And that would be, do I have too much credit card debt, or is my car loan too long of a time period? So kind of taking a look at that. So a lot of different things you could do.
And when you talk about looking at your bank statements, tracking that, is that when that overwhelms somebody, is that when a financial advisor comes into play? Is that what you do? You help look over?
Yep. We do, we look over all the bank statements. We even put them into the categories because it's even doing your own, I will be honest, it is, you look at it, you're like, oh, this is awful. I don't want to go,
Mhm.
you take a look at the check that you paid and you didn't remember who you wrote it out to or what it's for, or how do you categorize this? It is very
Mhm.
overwhelming, especially if you don't do it as a job.
Yeah, yeah. And how do you align or compare to, like, what's the difference between you and an accountant?
Um, the accountant takes more of a look on the taxability side. I take a
Okay.
look at the flow of the expenses. So they could be taking a look
Mm,
at in terms of a business, this is a business expense, so you could write this off, this off, this off. I'm taking a look and categorizing it and saying, are you spending too much money on items that cause you to go into more debt? So it's more of an
mm,
analysis side versus taking a
mhm.
look at the taxation side.
Okay, so are do you help people on a recurring basis, or is it typically you go over their expenses from the past year, you give them a plan, and as long as they maintain that plan, then they're good to go? Or do they keep coming back?
Yep, they keep coming back and we keep taking a look at expenses because people build houses, they have large changes in their life, and there's so
Mm,
many moving parts that it's impossible to find that perfect cash flow because it's like you have a baby, you get married. Those are such large expenses that affect your cash flow that you kind of try to not think about just to kind of
mhm.
normalize everything else. So just trying to get the average, across the years. So every single year we kind of take a look at that.
Okay. Because I've always wondered about what financial advisors actually do and how they help. Not to say that, like, of course, I knew it was important. I just didn't quite understand the job description. And so I'm really excited that you're explaining this to me. So,
Mhm.
how would people allocate to budget this? Because it's definitely very important that you know how much money you have, how much money you're spending in order to grow, or in order to grow and live and have a plan, especially in long term and retirement and things. So how do
Mhm.
they, like, what is the typical cost of maintaining a financial advisor?
Oh gosh, everybody does it completely differently under the sun. You'll see people charge you an assets under management fee, and it could be a certain percentage. And your financial planning, the continuation of meeting with them could be encompassed within that percentage as well. You'll also see typically people charge you an upfront planning fee. It could be
Mm,
X number of dollars. And then if you continue to meet with them every year and monitor the plan, it could be a monthly fee that they set up. It all
mm.
depends on the situation.
Okay. And is personal would be separate from business?
Not necessarily. Sometimes you can. I combine both of them under the same fee because sometimes it's easier to do both because if you
Hmm.
have business expenses mixed in on your credit card with personal, you're already there, you're already doing it. But again, every advisor does it so different. Mhm.
And do you help just people in your state, or is this something that you can help anyone in the nation?
We help pretty much anyone in the US. So we're
Okay.
at whichever states we're licensed in.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Yep.
When so what are you licensed in all 50 states?
We're actually not. It would be ideal to, but to maintain the licensing, it's pretty costly.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
yeah, yep.
So
So
what states are you able to help? Is this something that people could look up, like, on your website?
yep. And you
Okay.
can check them up on, it's called brokercheck.finra.org. And you can type in any financial advisor name and see what states they're licensed in and then where they previously have worked, all their information. So
Oh, that's cool. And of course,
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
listening, all of this information will be listed in the description. But I'm honestly, personally curious. So a lot of these questions I'm asking you right now are just off of my own personal
Yeah,
curiosity.
definitely.
Yeah, and then with the audience, they have
Mhm,
the opportunity to better set themselves up to, if they,
mhm.
want to be able to pay for their children to go to college, what do you recommend that they do as early as possible to alleviate that pressure when they get older?
Yeah. To alleviate the pressure, you could, again, there's so many routes, especially with saving into a 401k. There's so many options you could do out there. You could use your 401k, and if your 401k has a loan option, you're able to go down that route. There's also out there's 529 college savings plans. And that states if you're eligible, you can put X number of dollars in, it grows to X amount, and any interest earned in between, if it's used towards college expenses, it's not interest paid to whoever the account holder is. So that's another option you can use in terms of saving for college for kids.
Okay. Yeah, because I do know a lot of people think about that, and I personally know people who are struggling, like, I put my kids through college, I took a loan out on my home, and I don't know when I'm going to retire. I don't know when I'm going to pay my home off now. And it's just like, yeah, you're helping your children, but what about you? You're old now. You don't have that time that they have now, and you're just going to work till you die,
Yeah. I know. And everybody's so different. Some people are they're so headstrong on taking care of their kids. That's their goal in life. And I obviously now as a parent, I see that, I get that. But prior to kids, I was I just would always kick myself and say, you got to put yourself first. You got to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help anybody else. Because at the end of the day, your kids they're going to be in their 50s and 60s, being probably in their prime income earning years, and you're going to be a little bit older, and they're not going to be able to take care of you the way that you've been taking care of them. So it's hard. I personally, I'm in my 30s, and I just set up a small investment account. I put a couple $100s in per month and just let it grow. On the backside, I also do a 529 for my son right now. And I kind of match the same dollar amount going in, because it's with the college accounts, it's kind of a gamble of, what if my son doesn't go to college? What if he's going to be a farmer, or he wants to drive truck too? So it's hard.
I will, because I did have another guest on the show who calls herself the scholarship doctor, and she definitely opened my eyes to the possibility that you can start applying for scholarships as early as infants, and cash scholarships are awarded until they're 10th graders, and you can put that money aside or use it for private school, things like that, extracurriculars to hopefully, give them the opportunity to possibly win a scholarship, or like a athletic, if they're in athletics or whatever. But knowing that you can start enrolling them in scholarships as early as a baby is also very empowering. So I definitely wanted to share, especially because we're talking about finances and being scared about college, school. You definitely have options. It's just getting onto it as soon as you possibly can.
Exactly. Yeah. I just say, if you can be as broke as you can starting into it, and, funding as much as you can into your savings, life will just be so much easier for you in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, because we do not want to work until
I know.
And then you don't want to open up the door for resentment. Like, just like you go out of your way to pay for your kids and to provide for your kids, and you love your kids. And then you get to that age where now you're looking like, okay, well, now you're earning money. Are you going to now pay for me? And I don't think that that's a fair way to look at life, to now start to bank on your kids. So like you said, put on your oxygen mask first, do the things that you can to make sure that you are able to retire at a good age, and then help your kids as much as you can. I definitely don't feel like it is the right thing to do, to go broke for your kids.
Yeah. And it's a weird psychological shift that I've been seeing. Some of the kids, that because they understand and they know that they're going to be getting a lot of their parents' inheritances and getting all of this money, their work ethic is slowly dwindling, and they just because they know that they're going to be expecting this money. So it's strange just to see it from the other side of it. I'm just like, they know that they have this college account. Their parents have made them aware, but at the same time, like they can't just be banking on the fact that they're just going to be receiving it and they don't need to work for anything. So it's hard watching that work ethic kind of go slowly down over time.
It's funny because it kind of reminds me of, I believe it was Degrassi. I don't remember the character's name, but she always grew up thinking that she had wealth and money. And then when she finally got into Harvard, her parents were like, sorry, we almost lost the house, so we used your college fund, and she was like, what, devastated because she was banking on this money that her parents had told her that they had. And I just feel like working for your own is humbling. It teaches you a lot about life because nothing is handed to you. And I really did appreciate, like I said, the scholarship doctor, when I did the interview with her, understanding that each of these scholarships are age-based and your children are able to apply for them at their level. So if it's for a 5-year-old, you cannot write their 5-year-old's essay because it will be obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
That an adult wrote it. You can't fake being 5. And so it's really nice because then they judge it at that level. And it just teaches your children to work for the things that they want. And I really respect that too, because it just, like you said, it makes them lazy. It makes them not try as hard. They're banking on you and your hard work. And all in all, I just think it's better for everyone if we all contribute in some way,
Yep,
even if
absolutely.
you match them, like kind of how 401ks match you at a certain percent. You're like, okay, well, I'll match you dollar for dollar if you have that ability or whatever. It still gives them the opportunity to work for something.
Definitely. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'm like, like you said, so many moving parts. It's so hard.
And you don't know which move is the right move. And even if you think it's the right move and you calculated it to a strategic T, it could be a completely worse move in 3 years from now, or even 10 years. You have no idea. So
I know.
Yeah, it's hard. I personally, and I used to be type AAA before I had kids. Now I'm like type C. Like, my car, it used to be clean. And now I'm like, well, I get what I get. I'm glad I set it up in a pre-baby mind, because I have mine strategically set up where I have my own non-retirement account. And I plan to gift at the gift limit at the time if my son does not go to college, or something like that, or maybe he needs a down payment on a house. You can give that gift limit at that time. Maybe he does get into the non-worth ethic mindset. Then I'm like, you know what? Maybe you need to start working for your own. So I think I have that flexibility of, if he goes to college, I can use it. But if he doesn't, and A, B, and C, then I can still have the leverage on that to say, you really got to figure it out. So
yeah, I think all of this comes with education, especially when I started understanding about living trusts. I love that you can set in so many different rules behind a living trust. If my daughter, if my son isn't doing something, they don't get the money.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's no grief on your back as, like, when you pass away, if unfortunately maybe you weren't able to instill that into your kids, because we try our best, but some kids are just stubborn and hard-headed. And then you pass away and they're thinking, oh, I'm about to get all of my mama's money. But even as your dying wish, you want your children to get it together. They can, because they won't get that money if they don't.
Yep. Exactly. It is such a thing.
It's like, at least you get it. Kind of like dark to think about it in that way, but
I know. Yeah.
At least they can get it together eventually, even if it's that way. So I really appreciated understanding and learning about living trusts. I think it's really cool. I had a friend who, her grandfather left them a lot of money, and there was so many rules and facets around her brothers doing X, Y, and Z, and she was like explaining all the things that they had to do to get their part of the, inheritance.
Yeah. Yeah. They say you can control it from the grave, and it is so true. You absolutely can. Yeah. Yeah.
So how does financial clarity support mental peace in motherhood and family life?
Oh gosh, it's again coming back to that mom planning mindset of, there's so many different. It's kind of like that meme where it's like I'm trying to juggle having a social life, having my finances in check, and also being able to be a mom and a human being again, and everything in between. I think just having that financial stability and having the clarity and seeing it, I think it's a huge peace of mind, and it helps people sleep at night too, because there's nothing, you have something to pay off, and you're like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to pay off my car in 2 years? Can I at least, to clarify that and visualize it and see it, I think it really alleviates a lot of the stress we have as moms.
Yeah. And thinking about the 15-year car loan, I'm like, what does that look like? Does that mean that car payments are going to go down, but the interest is going up? So that way in the end, you're paying more.
Yep. In the end, you pay more interest, but your payment goes down just by a little bit. But it's just kind of locking us into that subscription-based model where none of us can get out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't even think about it like that. Them trying to adopt the subscription-based model in a way, in a twisted,
if
way.
My payment's going down, absolutely. But if, you just don't think about it, if it's going to last 15 years or, yeah.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, 15 years is so long. I'm like, how you would have to triple your payments just to try to cut it down.
Yeah.
So
but
our car's going to be
get
more
a new
expensive?
car. I know.
I'm
Are
like,
the prices
what is that going to look
up?
like?
Yeah. It'll be interesting
I'm like,
to
how
see
would
what
they
happens.
turn 30,000 into 15 years?
Yeah, I know, right? Yep.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
The math is not mathing.
Yeah. What? 2,000 a year? Like,
yeah.
what? Like, anyway. All right. I do completely understand also on top of that, what you're saying is because, especially with, just to keep with the car, we need our car to get to work and to do different things. And just I can't even imagine. I'm like stuck on that right now. I can't even imagine being like 15 years. I'm 5 years in. Typically that's when you would pay it off, and you still have 10 more years to go.
Right.
And 15 years is typically what we would know is how long it takes to pay off a house. And that's hundreds of thousands.
Isn't that crazy? But like,
if you think about that,
it's a whole different mindset. And that's kind of like the older generational, anybody who's like 40 plus, but like those who are of us who are like 25 to 40, we just care what we spend within the month, and can we make it? Like, if it's going to lower my payment, absolutely. For 15 years, sure, why not? I'll be able to do it. It's just, I
don't think, this day-to-day mindset, I think, has gone too far. Living in the present has gone too far.
I'm like, we take a step back here. Let's look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. 15 years, I'm like, that would be, oh my goodness.
It's so long. Yeah, 15 years. How old would I be at that point? It's just.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you put it into perspective, think about if you made a decision at 20 and that decision wasn't done being made until 35. That's crazy.
It is really crazy.
Crazy. Like, that is like, you bought a car at 20 thinking, oh, this is a cool car, and it wasn't even good enough, because like so much stuff would happen from 20 to 35. You can get married, you can have kids, and you never paid that car off, and then when you go to turn it in, now you still owe money. Oh my goodness. I can't even think about that.
It's
and
crazy.
Now that loan is being rolled over. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The logistics on that are just hurting my heart right now.
Yep.
It's stressing me out. Woo! The logistics on that is crazy. Oh my goodness. So this kind of really does tie into that. Like, how does that financial clarity help that
Yeah.
mental peace. It's knowing how these numbers work. And I personally think hopefully this will start to open up the door for people like you and financial advisors and people really having a personal connection with their accountants and things like that, because
Hmm.
there's so much that we think about day in, day out, just trying to make it, just trying to live. And you're
Hmm.
hustling and you don't realize that you're spending all this money, and then you don't really quite understand the predatory nature of financing things. And I'm hoping that that'll open the door more for, like I said, people like you, because we do need a little bit more advising.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can get really down that slippery slope on the whole financing everything. And you see it so much, especially in the younger generation. It's just,
Hmm.
but we also weren't, I mean, even just kind of like our parents, we weren't set up with any sort of cash amount, but you have to just survive, and that's kind of one way to do it, I guess. But it is not a safe way, I guess. I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it, but yeah.
Yeah, and with social media and with this generation, with the generation after us growing up on social media and feeling like they have to keep up, a lot of them are putting on a facade, not
Yep.
truly being their person.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that this podcast will be a small step, a small space of realism and honesty,
Hmm.
because we're lacking a lot of that. And it opens up that space of vulnerability. Like I said, again, predatory
Hmm.
financing and people being predatory over this naivety. And man,
Yep.
it's scary
It
time.
is. It really is. Yeah.
Hmm. So I think we kind of talked about this, going back to, how do you maintain those boundaries
Hmm.
by still being fully present for your clients?
Yeah. I guess what kind of boundaries in personal life, in professional life, what kind?
Yeah, your personal life, because again, this is your family business. And I
Yeah.
feel even people that do take a lot of pride in their work, it is hard to separate and put up those boundaries. Like, I'm about to have this child. I
Hmm.
know you love me, but
Yep.
you need
Yep.
to contact Susan.
Yep, exactly. I think, yeah, I'm so much better about it because it was like growing up, my dad, he did that grassroots approach of starting his own business, which is it's so impressive to watch and seeing what he's done over
Mm,
time. It truly is so the success. But through that though, like I
mhm,
was the kid on the other side of that where, he went to work conferences and we went on family vacations and he was at the conference the whole time and we hardly got to spend any time with him. And or when we go on ski trips and he answers his top clients calls, which I always was like, Dad, you have to set your boundary. You have to be able to just at 6 o'clock shut your phone line off. But
mhm,
again, for him, I'm starting to develop the same thing now because I kind of see where he was coming from, because it's just at the end of the day, it's not a client. It is a friendship at that point, and it's not. You put so much care and thought into these clients. You're helping them with their well-being. It's
mhm,
hard to call that boundary line, and
mhm.
to me, this is my lifestyle. It's not my 9 to 5. And maybe,
Mm,
yeah, maybe this is my epiphany moment of I need to start creating boundaries, but it's hard, especially when you have a question and you want to answer it, or like when you go to a store and it's not open because maybe they're closed for lunch or something like that, or,
mhm,
it's it's our generation of we need things now. And I think
mhm.
I'm just very accepting of providing that. So my boundaries are really bad. They're not good.
So what do you wish your dad would have said to you to help you better understand where he was coming from, as a way of preparing yourself to have that conversation for your children?
Right. That's a great question. And I don't know if it's anything he would have said to me, just because of maybe it's just how stubborn I am as a mindset.
Mm, mhm,
I think it's something I truly had to go through. It was a process I had to go through to see and get that aha moment of, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I judged you quick in this moment of, you don't have any boundaries, because I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you were to say something, it would probably be along the lines of more on, I'm helping the livelihood of these people, because when you're younger, you don't see that. You just think he's dealing with stocks and money and everything in
Mm-hmm.
between, but it's so much more to that at the end of the day.
So when did your mindset shift from, I wish my dad was a little bit more present, I am building a little bit of, correct me if I'm wrong, but a little bit of resentment as a
Hmm.
child. I wish he was here for our
Hmm.
vacations and things, to I respect my dad. I respect what he did for our family. I
Hmm.
admire, I'm willing to work with him. I love our work relationship. When did that mindset shift happen for you?
It was actually the first year I got into the business, because I was like, this is a great time to be able to be in his shoes and tell him, this is how you shut your text messaging off. This is how you do everything. Like, you can do it. And then I started getting into it, and I'm like, okay, I see why he has to answer that text at this time, or that phone call or anything like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's more of the phone calls that I was not in on. It was more like, our dad is dying. We need help on this end of it. So it was stuff
Mm-hmm.
I just was not, I didn't have the visibility to it. So
I see.
yeah,
And did you ever have a conversation with your dad?
no, never. It was always just kind of, because I don't know. He was always such, so black and white, like, this is my thing. I am the provider. This is what I'm supposed to do. Um, Very traditional in that role. So it was just something I just had to understand, I think, growing up.
I think my question is more like, did you ever have a conversation with him now as an adult? Like, hey, dad, I used
Oh,
to feel this way, but now I see you actually being here with
no,
you.
because
No.
then I'd have to tell him he's right.
Uh, well, then hopefully he doesn't hear
I
this.
know.
No.
I know. No, I've
You
been
sound like
more
my husband. That's
agreeing.
so funny. That's so
Like, I
funny.
can't tell him. No, I've been more agreeing in our conversations of, the leeway of answering phone calls past certain times, or answering
Hmm.
emails or anything like that, or text through my rep chat or something like that. I've just been, I don't know. I started getting into the hustle culture, actually. It felt like 3 years ago. It just naturally, I picked up, and I was like, we got to get this train moving. And he was kind
Mm.
of, my words started setting in on him. And then now he was like flipped 3 years ago. He's like, what's going on? Like, I thought this was the plan. Like, we're setting our boundaries. And now I'm like, we're going. So poor Gary, he's lost.
That definitely just flows right on into my next question, is just, how do you stay grounded or rooted in purpose when the world pushes hustle?
Yeah. It's everything in between of what we see. We actually hired a really great outside CFO, and he is the sole. I read a lot of, like, the books on traction with Simon Sinek, and every other book in
Okay.
between, and finding your why. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like, and that's still a question every single day we have to narrow down, is what is your sole purpose of being here, and what is your why? And
Mm-hmm.
our CFO that we hired, he really pushes us to think in that way. Like, what are your core values? Like,
Mm.
truly, what are, you need to sit down and not just say trustworthy, happiness, loyalty. It needs to be something that, um, really resonates with you. So we really do take time, and we do think about our core values. And just for example, one of them was just the other day, it really resonated with me, was fulfillment, and not
Mm.
just on, your side in your role of what you're doing today and how you're changing lives. It's also on the role of, um, the employees that we have too, do they feel like this is a 9 to 5 slide by, just trying to get a paycheck, or is it something that they truly feel like they're getting the most out of their time? Because at the end of the day, you're going to turn 65, you're going to retire, and then what? Like, you have to come into this world with a purpose. And maybe I'm just so strong in that way of thinking like that, but I truly think you only get this life once, and you have to live it to your highest fulfilled value. And you got to do what you got to do to make it work. So
Yeah, I love that you're bringing that up, especially fulfillment, because I'm sure that resonates also with a lot of moms and women,
yes.
because you think, I'm going to be fulfilled once I get married and once I have children. And then you
Yep.
have that and you're like, I'm not.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
not 100% fulfilled. And I was interviewing another mom, Courtney, and it was like, that's okay, because your kids are going to one day leave. I don't know in this economy, but they're going to one day leave. And like you said, or you're going to retire and you're going to look up and be like, who am I? What is my purpose?
Yep.
And I finally positioned myself where it's like, even if I'm old, I could totally do this. And so it's understanding what you can do, no matter what that is, that lights you up. And if that is corporate, then it's corporate. If that's entrepreneurialism, then it's entrepreneurialism. If it's finance, then it's finance. We all have our things. So what message do you hope women carry into this new year about money?
Oh gosh, you could have so many different routes to go, but I think it would be more on, the world it feels like it's crashing. It feels like everything's just kind of going into flames around us. And I think we just needed to go into it with more of a relaxed mindset of what will be, it will be. You still got to kind of get the grit of trying to figure out that mental clarity of the financial side of it. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. It may feel like it will be the end of the world, but it's really not, because it'll all work out in the end. And it feels like it's stressful for everybody coming into, just by the conversations I have. It's just, payments are adding up and everything in between. And I think after this big spending that we're going to be doing at the end of the year for Christmas, I think just kind of go into it of a new regenerative relaxation mindset, I think would be the best.
Are you seeing that people are still preparing to kind of do a big spend for Christmas? Because I feel like on some parts of the internet, I'm seeing people are like, I'm changing the way I'm doing Christmas this year. What are you seeing with the holidays?
It's literally 50-50. And I don't know if it's because of like the location based of where I'm at. Like, I do see a lot of the shop local, a lot of that. But then also I do see maybe spend something more on experiences for my kids, of instead of tangible toys, of going to museums and such and stuff. It's more of maybe let's do a vacation fund instead. I do see a lot of spending, but just in weird different avenues, not just the typical tangible items.
Yeah, I can agree with that. With the trips and experiences, I'm totally on board with that, other than a bunch of tangible junk,
I know.
Not trying to be the Grinch.
My whole right? No, my whole philosophy is that your experiences never depreciate. Like, you'll always remember the vacation, no matter where you go or what you do. I think I think the memory is so much more meaningful and impactful, instead of a toy that's going to be forgotten about and sold in 3 years from now. So
yeah. And that, I definitely think that some things, like we're buying our daughters balance bikes. I think some things are definitely cool to have and good to have.
Yes.
It's just the little knickknacks things that are just not, in my opinion, worth it.
Definitely. Yep. I'm in the same boat too. Yeah.
So if a mom is listening who's anxious about her finances, what would you say to her?
Oh, I think that you should go out and find the clarity that you need to be able to sleep at night. And whether that means hiring a
Mm,
financial advisor, hiring someone that could be able, maybe it's changing your tax professional or anything like that, or even sitting down with them and seeing what the year is going to be like. It is an
mm-hmm,
investment. It is expensive, but at the end of the day, if it gives you that peace of mind at the end of the day and leading you to where you need to be with good intentions of what you're looking at, I think just searching out the help that needs to be sought.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you feel like everyone should seek a financial advisor, or do you feel like there's a certain threshold where it really becomes necessary?
I almost want to say everybody because there's so many different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on, anybody that makes an income, it's what do you do with it? And I think it's just that main answer of, well, it all depends on what you want to do in life. You got to have someone that has the knowledge to guide you to that answer that you're looking for, whether you know it already, just providing you the
Mm-hmm.
actual number values of getting to your benchmark. Maybe it is saving, 10 to 12% towards your investments every year or towards investing every year. Or maybe it is kind of creating more of a cash value balance. I almost think everybody does need to find that person and to be able to get those monetary values and those benchmarks aligned to what their current situation is.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that.
Hmm.
Do you feel like everyone can are like for you, we're speaking about you. Is it something that it's flexible if someone is like, I know I need this, I don't make a lot.
Hmm.
Is there always a way to afford help?
Yes, and a lot of financial planners, they do like just a one-time financial planning fee, and it could be for early
Okay.
starters of like, I don't know what I'm doing, just give me some guidance, and you'll find someone that can just give
Hmm.
you right off the ground. And we're the culture of DIYers of everything, and I think it actually does help us for those that we obviously have a mindset of where we want to go,
Mm-hmm.
but having someone who just does that one-time planning fee and to provide that is, I think, extremely helpful in our case.
Okay, I like that. It's not, you don't always have to have them on retainer.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of, like you said, moving parts, having
Hmm.
someone on retainer is probably going to be more beneficial for you.
Yep.
But if, maybe you aren't really there yet, but you just need, like you said, some guidance. Okay, I like that. It's levels to
Hmm.
it.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. And
Yeah. I
I'm frugal. I'm a DIYer, so I get the mindset of it. So I get it.
yeah, I really appreciate that. I'm definitely thinking about it more with trying to better understand my finances. And again, having children makes you think about a lot of this stuff more.
Hmm.
And you want to be prepared, be responsible,
Hmm.
set yourself up. And then also, if we're educating ourselves, we can better educate our children because there is a little bit of frustration or I just feel like so many people just blame our parents like, why didn't you teach me this?
I know.
But they weren't
Right.
taught it, and they weren't taught it, and their grandparents and all that. So just I really appreciate you coming and talking with me and opening up that
Absolutely.
door and getting that education going because
Hmm.
money is so important to live. You don't
It
need this
is.
excessive amount to live a good life,
Yep.
but to better understand it, to better manage it is so important, especially as you grow and family plan and
Hmm.
all of those things as we talked about today. So,
Hmm.
last question, if you can finish the sentence for me, mothering holistically means.
Oh gosh. Um, Gosh, I feel like mothering holistically would mean kind of creating your own pursuit of happiness
Mm.
through the act of motherhood. And maybe that's more, it could be more of a giving. Oh, that's not finishing a sentence. That's a really long run on sentence.
No,
But
you're fine.
maybe,
You're fine. No, you're fine. It's whatever you have to say about it. It's not. There's
yeah.
no rules. There's no rules.
Yeah, no, I just think maybe it's just more towards creating your own pursuit of happiness through the act of motherhood and whatever way you perceive that being. So,
I love that. I love
yeah.
that. Especially using, pursuit of happiness. I love that a lot. I don't like to. expand too much on that. I kind of like to leave it at that. And
yeah. Yep.
And I really appreciated this time with you. And like I said,
Yeah.
again, from the beginning, you're pregnant right now and we're going into the holidays. So you kind of taking this time to talk with me really means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah.
And please, again, if you can just go back over where, if anyone's looking for you to help them with their finances, where can they connect with you?
Right. We have a website. It's called 406wealthadvisors.com.
Okay.
Or you could Google my name, Laurel Fewer, and I'll pop up there. So you'll see my face.
Perfect. And again,
Yeah.
her information will be down in the description below. Just for people listening with a good memory, saying it out loud is kind of nice too. And of course, you all can follow me at Kaylee Berlinee on all social media platforms. Follow the podcast at Mothering Holistically on Instagram and Facebook to see all the sneak peeks, guest announcements, anything to stay in the know with the podcast. Definitely follow us there. Tag us Mothering Holistically if you learn anything new, because I certainly did. And I'm really excited to see what you all have to say about that. So if you like this episode and feel it resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up by clicking that like button. And if you feel it could encourage someone, educate them, better help them with their finances, definitely share this video and subscribe or follow while also hitting that notification bell to never miss a weekly episode. Each episode comes out Saturday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so you definitely don't want to miss. So until next time, remember to mother holistically and thrive authentically. I'm your host, Kaylee Berlinee, and together we're winning. Bye, y'all.